Hello, and welcome to the Full Advisor Coaching Podcast with your host, Kristin Harad. Kristin, good to be back with you again. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. How are you, Bill? It's been a little bit since
I
we
know it
we
has
hit the
been a
record
while, been a
button.
few minutes. Where have
I
you been?
know. I know. I did take a little time off, so that was nice, but we get back at it, do a few accelerated recordings and we're all set.
That's great. Well, who are
Yeah.
we talking to today?
Well, today I'm excited because this woman is a powerhouse, and if you don't know her, you're going to be on the edge of your seat today because we're going to talk about the one of the things I am probably asked the most about. And this woman is the woman to school us all on it because I'll say this is an area where I almost immediately try to pull in an expert to say, hey, this is how it's done well. So today we are speaking with Katie Braden, and she's the founder of Advisor Video Marketing. So
Mm,
that's where we're going to be going today,
nice.
which is pretty cool because it's going to fit into some of the narrative we've been talking about, Bill, which is around the business development ecosystem and how can you communicate and be authentic and get your message out there. So Katie's going to teach us on that. A little bit about Katie. I've known her. Oh, she's Katie. Well, let me just
Like,
welcome you, Katie. Welcome.
thank you. Thank you. And Kristin, I was thinking about that this morning. I feel like 10 years. I could be
At least
wrong, but it feels like at
I
least
think
10 years,
so,
if not longer.
because it was when you were very early starting your practice, and I believe you started your financial planning business
In
back in like 2013 or so, right?
2013, started one of the very first completely virtual monthly subscription financial planning businesses.
I remember that. It was so early on. So I feel like we connected then, and shortly after I moved to Australia, and then I feel like you were over in South Africa or
I
touring the
was
world in some way.
everywhere. Yeah, and we
Okay,
connected because I actually got my degree from RMIT University in Melbourne, Australia, degree
that's
in
right.
photography. So that's the completely natural path to becoming a certified financial planner.
Of
Um,
course. Yeah.
it's what everybody
That's
does.
often the trail. I know I've seen that path.
Very common.
Never. Yeah.
And then, yes, because I was, pretty outspoken and one of the very early adopters of that virtual model, then I ended up speaking internationally. So I was speaking in Australia, and then I ended up consulting and working with financial planners in 35 countries, traveling all over the world. So many cool experiences doing that.
Yes, yes. I remember following you on that journey on social media, and it was really exciting. And then we were able to reconnect in person through our mutual friend Colleen Bowler, who did a recent episode here. So if you've missed that, please go check it out. I think it's
Yes,
episode 6. But we were able to meet up in Las Vegas, your hometown, right?
it is.
So
It is.
yeah, so we were able to connect again in person, and once I heard all about what you're doing with video, I thought, okay, we need to have you out here. So um today what I really want to talk about is the big question of, I can't tell you the number of times advisors that I'm working with or coaching ask me, what do you think, should we be doing video?
Yes.
Well, that's a wrap then. Uh,
All done.
that's that's the answer. Yeah. So, why is it that you think they should be doing video?
Yeah. Well, first of all, Kristen, I never get tired of hearing that advisors keep asking that question, right? The seed is planted and they know they should be doing it, right? You're seeing video, people are seeing the power of video. And it's not just TikTok videos and YouTube shorts. It's understanding in this, continual hybrid world. I don't think we're ever going to get away from this. It's that video is the next best thing to being in person. And it's so much easier than being in person, right? This way with video, you can be multiple places at once and people have the opportunity to get to know you, right? Know, like, and trust you before they ever even meet you. So I was using video in my business in 2013, long, long
Wow.
time ago. I still
Wow.
have an
Yeah.
old YouTube channel somewhere because I was
Ah,
leveraging, right, that photography side of my brain, which is kind of how I came full circle in doing advisor video marketing. But I had such a high close rate in my financial planning practice because people already decided they liked me and wanted to work with me before we ever had that discovery call. So it made it so easy. they were like, great, you're already keen on working with me. Now it's really just deciding, do I want to work with you? And that's
Yes,
maybe a
yeah.
separate conversation, but video is just so impactful that way. And I
It's
just have to
true.
specify, I call it easy and authentic video. And I know everybody has, feelings, and you have feelings about the word authentic, but I just say that in terms of, one quick example is a lot of advisors will get started with video and they'll go like the super high end route, right? And they'll
Yeah.
do a whole script and go through compliance and they'll hire a studio and this whole big production. And then they are so uncomfortable because it's something they've never done before that they don't ever want to watch that video again, right? Because they're like, I don't recognize myself. I was super uncomfortable. And so that's why I'm so big on it's got to be easy. It's got to be just you showing up exactly the same way you show up with clients in person in a really easy, repeatable process.
Right, right. Yeah, I agree 100%. And I'm excited to get into that. But as you were telling me about using video in 2013, I think that I used video. I was in 2008
Love it.
because I was pregnant with my daughter, and the YouTube video is still out there somewhere, and I have like the giant bloated I'm about to give birth face talking about because I worked with new and expectant parents, so it was kind of it was on brand, I guess. But
Totally.
I remember sitting out in uh I'm in San Francisco. We were sitting in like the Presidio, and I want to say my husband just filmed me on whatever little camera we had,
Yeah.
and I'm talking about it. But my son, who's in college now, found the video and was like cracking up because it's very authentic.
Right.
It was very natural, and he's like, "What is that? Who are what? Why?" I'm like, "Don't worry about it. It was good," and it was God, I mean, it was used obviously very differently. I think I had it on a landing page or on my website. I don't even remember exactly,
Right.
but exactly what you were talking about, um, having a place for people to learn about, like, oh, who do you work with? Why do you work with these people? What do you care about? So, and to the point, we're going to get into this in a bit, but I do want to talk about those produced videos, like, well, let's just knock it out of the way right now. Like,
Yeah.
when does it make sense, or does it ever make sense to use a produced video? Like a nice, like we've hired the team, we brought
Yep.
them in. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of advisors really will want that like as the video on their homepage, right?
Okay.
Advisors tend to be perfectionists, right? Have a
Yes.
bit of
Yes.
analysis paralysis, and they're like, everything has to look perfect before it goes out into the world. So for a lot of advisors on their homepage, they're like, look, I want something with a higher production value. And
Mhm.
so that's where I'll work with them. Ideally, again, they've already gotten comfortable on video so that it's a video that they are going to feel proud of. But
Right.
they want it to have that sort of elevated feel, but not so much, right? I see some again that are just a little bit too much. They're so scripted. The content is so blah. And the other thing I'm always saying, Chris, and Matt Haller at Proudmouth would agree with this, right? Content over production. That's the thing,
Right.
is people
Right.
get so focused on the production. And one thing I hear from advisors, I kid you not, every single week, people reach out to me and they're like, hey, I spent $800 on this camera and $600 on this microphone. And I'm like, cool. And they're like, and they're still in the box,
Right.
right?
I know. I know. Well, it's the tool is going to solve the problem for me.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not the key. So advisors get so stuck on like, well, if I spend $5,000 or $10,000 on this production, it's going to be great and it's going to bring in clients, and
Right.
then when
Right.
it doesn't, because they've only done one video, right? And they're not
Right.
continuing on, they're not going to see the results with that.
Right, right. And I've seen that so many times, and I'm thinking to some of my clients who have used video well and done like the bomb video where
Yeah.
they record and say, "Hey, dear client, client X, hi Jim, da da da, just wanted to check in with you about XYZ," and they send it out, and it's just like off the cuff,
Yep.
send the email, send the video, say hello. They've had a lot better traction. Or I'm out hiking. I have another client who's out hiking with his
Yeah.
dog, pulled out the iPhone and talked to the camera. It was like, "Hey, I've been thinking about this concept." And before he did that, he was trying to record them in his office, sitting down with the setup, and it was so dry. And then he just did one while he was out walking, and it was like night and day. You're like, now that was interesting.
It is. Okay, so Krista, I love that story because this is one of the things like I teach in my workshops and always talk with advisors about. So a couple things to think about there, right? When we are at our desk, our brains are like in work mode, right? We're thinking about
Mm,
compliance and, trades and market updates and just being very reactive to client things. Like we have all these crazy things going on in our head and we are literally
right.
quite physically, slumped over the desk. And so by standing up, right, just literally the act of standing up makes a difference. I'm standing up chatting to you right now. It brings more energy. It's good for your posture. Your chiropractor
Right.
would approve. And then getting outside and getting that fresh air, it shifts your whole mindset, right? Especially if you're out
Yeah,
on a hike, on a walk, right? You're getting that exercise. So I always tell advisors, I'm like, start doing that. Even if you're going to just send videos to your team, that is such a great way to like find your voice, right? And that's where it gets back to
right.
like the pick. That was the actual advisor, right? That was them, not the person that's kind of like overthinking things sitting behind the desk, like trying to be too
Right,
professional.
trying to get the words right.
Right.
Like, yeah, he would just, it was really a huge shift in just, making it interesting and being like,
Yeah.
oh yes, that was worth watching. So I think that's a big piece. And I think, well, let's get into like, there's the how to record the video, but then there's you mentioned right there, like, even if you're just sending it back to your team, like, what are all the ways we can use video? Because it's not just like, let me put it out there on social media and maybe someone will come over and look at
Right.
my website. So
Yeah.
what
Well,
do you like to focus on?
I'm going to borrow one of your terms here, Kristen, and say video can and should be used across the entire business development ecosystem,
Oh,
right?
there
So,
we go.
right?
Great. Yes, thank
And this
you.
is
Yeah,
honestly how
it's
I came
true.
up with this idea. Like I stopped kind of traveling around the world brilliantly, I have to say, right before COVID hit. And then COVID hit and I was like, I have time to think about what do I want to do next. And right with my background in financial planning, I've done a lot of things. I literally like wrote down on a piece of paper. I don't even do mind maps, but I was thinking about, website and then client onboarding, the entire client journey, even all those pain points of like data gathering for clients. How many clients just stop at that stage because they're like,
Hmm,
this
hmm.
isn't any fun, right? Your ongoing
Right.
communications, your external marketing, your internal team training. And literally, I put video in the center and I was like, video can and should touch every part of your business. So, wherever you're at in your advisor journey, right? If you're bringing on new planners or new associates in your team, I talked with an advisor yesterday who said he's bringing on a new person next week and he's recording like 5 looms a day. So, every single
Wow.
time he goes to do something, he's like, hey, this is how we do account transfers. And just right, all you're doing is hit record and you're recording exactly what you do. So instead of having to train and train somebody over and over again, they have these videos to go back to, right? So
Right.
every
Let's
piece
touch
of
on
your
that
business.
Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to talk over you. Let's talk about Loom, because not everyone listening may be familiar with Loom. And I
Yeah.
mentioned Bomb Bomb. So let's kind of break those down first, and then we can go back to the uses.
Yeah, absolutely. And I will say both of those are listed in the ebook, Kristen, that is a free download for
Oh,
anybody listening
perfect.
to this. So it kind
Perfect.
of dives into both of those a little bit more. So Bomb Bomb, and I will say I am completely agnostic in terms of tools and everything. So we're just mentioning
Mhm.
some, and there are so many more out there. But Bomb
Okay.
Bomb is really great for video emails. And so a couple of things that are really great is it does like an automatic animated 3-second GIF in the beginning. And so when people get it, they're seeing you actually, they're seeing
Oh, that's
movement,
very cool. Okay. I
right?
didn't know
Versus
it did that. Hmm.
it does.
That's
And
great.
it's nice because if somebody gets it and they like see you waving or kind of like doing something interesting, it just kind of triggers your brain and you're like, oh, something's going on here. Versus just a static thumbnail, people can get really
Right.
suspect and be like, is this a phishing scam? Should I click on this? And it says exactly how long the video is right in that animated GIF. So I tell advisors, I'm like, try to keep it to like, I don't know why, but my magic number is 47 seconds.
Wow. Okay.
Right. So when we're talking about easy and authentic videos, and you were saying it before, if you're like, hey, Jim, just wanted to check in on things, these quick videos, they should not be 6 minutes. Right. If I
Yeah,
get an
exactly.
email and it's like, hey, Kristen sent you a 6-minute video, I'm going to be like, I don't got time for that. Right.
Right, right.
Keep it
Yeah,
short.
I could see under a minute makes a lot of sense. Definitely under 2 minutes.
Yes.
Uh, I don't like to see that little bar going too far,
Right.
because I'm like, now I got to schedule it to watch that, versus I can consume this in the next 30 seconds before my next meeting."
It is. One the thing is, think about what are the use cases, right? So you don't want to send
Yeah.
a 3-minute video that's like, hey, Kristin, remember, I need you to do this and call that person and follow up on this and do the other thing, right? Because then that's
Right.
creating too much work for the person.
Right.
That's stuff
Right.
you want in an email, right? With bullet points, kind of driving them through. These
Right.
videos are great when it's like, hey, Kristin, congratulations on your kid graduating from college, or, on your retirement, or, hey, I'm really sorry that we messed this thing up, right? You can use
Oh,
it for those things
that's a
where
good use too.
actually seeing your, facial expressions and hearing your tone of voice is so much more impactful than just text.
Right. Right. Okay. So we can use bomb, which is BOM, if I remember correctly.
Literally like boom. So BOMB,
Oh, it is.
BOMB, like
Okay. Okay.
bomb. Not the best
Got
name,
it.
I have to say.
Yes. Yes. And then I've used Loom
Yeah.
all the time especially to train my assistant on how I like to do things. That's one way I've used it. I'll
Yeah.
use it to explain a concept to a client where I will pull up, maybe like a whiteboard type
Right.
application, or I hook my Remarkable in and record the screen and then send the Loom video and say, hey, this is the concept I was talking about. So you have it for reference.
Yep, and that's kind of really what Loom was built around, is a lot of those how-to videos. So again, if
Right.
you have any bottlenecks either in your operations, in your business, and people aren't understanding, or you're changing how you do something, having these Loom videos that, yeah, the big thing is, recording your screen and walking
Mm-hmm.
people through exactly what you're doing. And for client things, but I would always caution, right? We're not compliance experts. So check with your compliance, right? Never share something in a Loom that's like sharing account numbers and private personal information. So you just really want to be careful there, but explaining overall, like, hey, here's how you log into eMoney or Money Guide Pro, and here's
Right.
how
That's
you
what I
set
was
things up.
thinking.
Exactly.
Or how to, how to use the portal or up. I imagine in the onboarding, how to get the document, how do we get your documents
Yeah.
into the portal, or how do you share information with us? Because I know that one of the big hurdles can be collecting all the documents and information, or logins, or connecting things for advisors. So I imagine that could be a very helpful video.
It is. It's the how and it's the why. Again, really thinking
Yes, very
about
good.
where can some of that empathy come in? Because again, if somebody's never worked with financial planner and then they're getting this list of like, hey, we need your tax documents and your insurance and your investment statements and your employee benefits. And people are like, oh my gosh, what? Right. Having a 45-second video that's like, hey, Kristin, we understand this can feel kind of painful. We get it. Gather what you can over the next 3 days and then, upload it here. And,
Yeah.
if we need other stuff down the road, we can get it. But just know, in order to create the best financial plan for you, these are the documents that we need, right? But having just a little bit of empathy, because that process, let's be honest, it kind of sucks.
It does, absolutely. And it's, it can be hard enough just finding the place where you have to hit the button to get the statement that you need to upload, or whatever the step is that someone needs to do.
Yep.
So I like that layer of empathy on it as well. And importantly, so that's kind of bomb, then Loom, and then other ways to use video. Like if we are going to use video, I know a lot of people want to use video to attract new clients in the door. So let's focus there, because I do know that is a big pain point for advisors in terms of creating regular content, and where and how does it make sense to integrate video into their marketing plan.
Yeah, I would say the number one thing, and I'm pretty sure you'll totally agree, do not start down this path if you don't have a crystal clear target audience.
Yes, that is 100%. They can go to episode, I think it's 5, where I
Right?
talked to Kristen Luke about niche. It's like, know who
Exactly.
you're attracting. That's just where we're starting. If you don't know, go back. You got work to do. Then we can get into video.
You
Agreed.
do. And here's the thing. So advisors are also like, bleeding hearts and want to help everybody, which I love, but that doesn't pay the bills, right? So a lot of
No.
advisors are like, I want to just provide educational content and help people. And I'm like, I love that. How about you do that later? Right?
Yeah.
Once you've got the steady flow of new clients. And so if you're just
Right.
providing very generic information that could apply to anyone, you're not going to attract anyone. right? So
Right.
that's where it's like,
Absolutely.
who is your target audience? And then always, always start with those questions that you're getting, especially from your ideal prospects, right? Because those are like
Hmm.
really fresh
Hmm.
questions, people that are coming in the door. What are they asking? And then
Yeah.
make sure in all of your videos, whether you're doing it through stories, through analogies, or through just directly saying, but clearly identify who that target audience is. And I don't want the target audience
Okay.
to be, if you're over 50 and have $1 million of assets, that is not a
Right.
target audience, right? You
Right.
need to
Right.
have
Exactly.
something to
Exactly.
narrow that down.
Yes. So let's say I have my target audience. I know who I want to reach. Then I start with the questions. On any kind of content platform, whether it's podcast or blog or video or any of, the above, I like to start with pain point. Like, how are you
Yeah.
solving like the biggest thing that's on this person's mind? So I think getting to the pain points or the questions prospect are asking you are a
Yeah.
great way to like really get to it. How do we take that and make it uh worthwhile? Like how do you use that information in video? Like what are the kind of the brass tacks around that?
Yeah, so the reason I say to start with like those frequently asked questions is because those are the things that you have answered so many times, you could answer them in
Mm,
sleep. And again, hopefully you are using analogies to really connect with clients. Hopefully you're not an advisor that's kind of talking at a PhD level and confusing
yeah.
everyone. Right, but
Yes, yeah.
it's the content you know. So you don't need to sit down and stress over a script and research a topic, right? Advisors, I feel like, are notorious for making things way more complicated than you need to be. Whereas I'm like,
Right, right. Absolutely.
and start with that evergreen content. So it's that content that was the same answer if you got this question 2 years ago, and it's going to be the same answer 2 years from now,
Ah,
right?
that's
That way
good.
you've
Yeah.
got content. You can keep sharing clips on social media over time. You can share the video, in newsletters. You can make it part of your onboarding process. You want to think about how can you leverage every video as much as possible.
Yes,
And so
absolutely.
over time, as people get more comfortable, then I'm like, all right, we want to add some timely content, right? We want you to be comfortable enough to be able to react if something major happened, to proactively reach out to your clients, right?
Right, right.
And again,
Okay.
share some of that empathy. Say, look, we understand maybe there's a major dip in the market, or World War III has started, or who knows, right? And you want to
Yes,
like
yeah.
reach out and be able to do that easily.
Right, right. Okay. So I have my evergreen content, which I love that because that can be used in multiple ways throughout the entire system, right? Whether
Yeah.
you can email it out to your existing clients, you can email it out to prospects, to leads, you can share it with your centers of influence, all of the connections that you have. I love that. So talk to me about how you get started doing videos. So I decided I'm going to do video. I know my target audience. I've got their pain points. Now what?
You have to practice. And anybody that's gone through sports or started a hobby or learned anything new knows that there is literally nothing new that you can do, including becoming an advisor or a financial planner, without practicing.
Right.
Right. So you're going to have to just start getting it out there, which is why I like with the hiking thing. I was like, start sending things to your colleagues just to have a little
Oh, I
team,
like that. Yes, that's
that
good.
you can get comfortable, because I will tell you, one of the hardest things for advisors, even once they recorded the video and maybe done a little bit of editing, is actually hitting that post button. So I kid
Yeah.
you not, Chris, I will actually
Yeah.
get on screen share with advisors the first time they ever post a YouTube video or the first time they ever post something to social media, because hitting post is terrifying. Even
Yes,
if
that
you're
means someone's going to see you.
it. Yes, even if you're an experienced public speaker, like video is
Yeah.
a completely different like skill set, mindset, emotional thing. So that's the big thing, is you have to actually get comfortable enough to get content out there. But I will tell you the biggest thing, do not wait until you feel great about it.
Right.
So one of the
Absolutely.
hardest things for advisors to learn, and I'm so sorry to say this to all of you, but what you think about your videos doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
I have so many
That's true.
advisors that have spent hours and hours on video, put it out there, crickets. And then they've had other videos that they were like, oh, I just kind of had this thought. Again, like the guy hiking, right? Had this thought,
Yeah.
this topic, I kind of threw this video together. Oh, and it got 400 views in 2
Yeah.
days.
I was
And they're
going to
like,
say my videos that have gotten the best views, you're like, "Really? That's the one where you just kind of off the cuff recorded
yes,
something and posted it and was like, "Huh, how about that?"
right?
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
And that's the good thing. And that's why I also love those like one-to-one videos, is because putting
Mm.
it out into the world, right? Those casual videos, the quick, hey, happy birthday, hope you had a great
Oh,
vacation,
yeah.
happy retirement. Like there are so many great touch points that it literally will take you less than 60 seconds to send these videos, right? You're keeping your
Right.
face in front of, clients and prospects. But when you get that response back of like, oh my gosh, I got 100 birthday messages today, and yours was the only one I responded to because it was the only video. Right? It's a
Right.
huge
Right.
differentiator. And when you're like, but wait, that was a 30-second, really quick happy birthday. It made an impact in someone's life.
Right.
That is
Right.
awesome.
So how do I technically start?
Yeah.
Like, what do I do in terms of how do I record it?
Yeah. If you have a phone, I will tell you, I know advisors, again, love spending all this money, getting all these cameras. Sure. You can just start with your phone. Phones have incredible cameras on them nowadays.
Right.
A lot of
Amazing. Yes.
webcams aren't all that great. There are a lot of Logitech ones that are, but you want to say, I know a little bit technical, but you just want a video that's in 1080p. So I will say you do not need 4K, right? These videos are not showing on IMAX. We're not going to the Cannes
Okay.
Film Festival. And you
Oh,
don't want
yeah.
720 because we are past that. So that'll look a little grainy and a little outdated.
Okay.
So
So what's the
1080,
magic number?
1080,
1080? Okay.
1080.
Okay.
Because these videos are just playing on people's phones and their computers, right? They're not playing them on their 85-inch screens at home.
Right.
So
Right.
keep it simple. Use what you've already got. And this is the thing, getting comfortable in doing it is the most important thing. But the only other thing is have good audio. So if that means
Oh, yes.
getting a little lavalier mic that hooks on if you're out and about hiking, out for a walk, lavalier mics are fabulous. Literally plug and play. You don't have to do anything. Or if you're in
Okay.
your office, you can get a $60 microphone.
Right.
Right. These things
Right.
don't be complicated. They don't have to take a lot of money. You just want to make sure content over production, but you do want to make sure people can see you. So you need a little bit of lighting. Don't have
Mm-hmm.
lighting behind you so that you're all just a dark blob and they
Right.
can hear. Because if you have really good
Right.
content, they can't hear you, then
Yeah, that's one of my biggest frustrations is I'll just turn it off because I'm like,
completely.
yes, where it's often too bad because I'm like, no, I really want to hear what that person has to say and I can't hear them, or
Yeah.
it's muffled, or it's, I've turned the volume up as loud as I can and I still
Right.
can't hear it. So I think that's a big deal.
Well,
So,
and I just want to say one other quick thing on that is this should all be for your virtual settings as well, right? You're all doing virtual meetings, advisors doing virtual meetings with clients and prospects, touching on really emotional things. You need to make sure that they're not distracted in those meetings and they can pay
oh,
attention to
good
what you're
point.
talking about. So you do want to
Yeah.
make sure that you've got the good audio, the good lighting, and the good camera so that they're not sitting there while you're trying to talk about their life goals and they're like, I
Right.
can't hear you.
Right, right. Okay, a few more things I want to touch on before we wrap. I want to know how often do I have to post and use video? What's the right cadence? Because there is something to be said about consistency with content rather than just randomly popping up a video here and there.
Yeah, so like I call them gratitude videos, a lot of those one-to-one videos. It's a great way to
Mhm.
start every Monday, right? Mondays can be a bit
Okay.
tough for a lot of people, and just pick somebody, whether it's your longest standing client, a COI that just referred somebody, your
Oh,
parents, like anybody, and literally just spontaneously send a video. We all have those times where like, oh my gosh, I've been thinking about Kristin. I need to reach out. I haven't reached out. Pause. Like
mm,
just build the habit of pausing and reaching out to people, right? With those just really easy one-to-one videos. And again, that will build your confidence when you get responses back that people loved it. Then you'll be like, okay, cool. Now I can do these videos for the team. I can do these videos for the clients, right? It's a
right,
really good
right.
starting place to build that habit.
Okay. So what about, am I doing that on BombBomb? Am I doing that just recording? Okay. So I can
Yeah.
just do
Yeah.
that.
BombBomb, BombBomb or Loom, or again, if you already have a tool that you love, advisors, don't get shiny object syndrome. Use what you've got.
Yeah,
You can change it
exactly,
later, but use what
exactly.
you've got.
Okay, good. And then what about cadence on posting on, say, social media or under, if you're doing like a video, a blog or a vlog, if you will?
Yeah, for most advisors, I'd say twice a month tends to be the most practical, right? Because you're going to
Okay.
have all kinds of different things that come up during the year. So twice a month, that's a pretty easy cadence. A lot of advisors strive for weekly, and then they realize life keeps getting in the way, right? So don't set a
Right.
really high bar where you're setting yourself up for failure. Start somewhere really, really attainable. And again, if you like really get on a roll, then great. And this is where I'd say you can
Right.
do batch recording. So if you're like,
Yes, I was
hey,
gonna say that's
exactly.
perfect.
Yeah, so that's where like if you're not doing timely things yet and you're like I'm just doing evergreen content, record 4 videos at once and pre-schedule them to post out
Yeah.
over the next 8 weeks. And then you'll be like, "Oh wow, that was cool. All right, I can block a half a day every other month and record 4 2-minute videos." Like that's totally doable.
Yes, I love that strategy because you can get in the groove too, and you
Yeah.
can, you're into it. That's what your focus is. That's everything you said today. I'm time blocking for recording. You get it done. You focus on the evergreen, and then out it goes. I mean, we do that with podcasts, right? We
Exactly.
batch record a couple, and then pace them out over time. And I think 2 times a month, I usually say the same for, that's how this podcast is. And then I say the same for blogs, just to
Yep.
be, hey, you know what, 2 a month you can do, you can send it out. It's reasonable. It's keeping people warm. And then hopefully you can add on from there, but you don't have to get overwhelmed about it.
Yep.
Yeah. So we do need to get into wrap up, even though I absolutely could keep going. Um, there's so many questions here, but tell me how you help advisors, because I know you have a cool program. I've had some clients go through your 12-week workshop. So tell us about that, and how an advisor might be able to get your guidance on their videos.
Yeah, so this is for those advisors like, all right, right? The ones that keep asking the question, they know they need to do video, but they're like, I don't know where to start. I don't have the confidence yet. I don't have the setup. So over these 12 weeks, we go step by step into everything that you need from, hey, I've never done a video before, or even if you had and you want to level up, to you've actually got like a YouTube channel launched and you've got a couple of edited videos out in the world in 12 weeks, which
Wow.
flies by. So this is where we make sure that you've got your whole setup, your audio, your camera, your lighting. We build out a content calendar. You get those edited videos from our team as part of the workshop. We create a YouTube banner. We create YouTube thumbnails. Like we go through everything so that advisors are
Wow.
like, yep, I've been wanting to do this. I need to do it. So there's just like a 1 to 2 minute homework assignment every single week, right? Staying really, really focused and then
Right,
building
right.
that habit and keep building that habit and build on those skills and keep getting that comfort, finding your voice, your style, right? I don't want every advisor's videos to look and feel the same. So working with
Right.
you, that is. And some advisors are like, I have a lifestyle practice. I don't want YouTube, but I want to, stay proactive with client communications. Great. That's a huge opportunity as well. So meeting advisors where they're at. But Kristin, it's so much fun. And it's like, I
Oh,
have to say
I
the
bet.
most rewarding thing is seeing the confidence boost in advisors at the end of the 12 weeks is so cool.
I bet. Yeah. From 1 to 12. I imagine if you've had 12 meetings, and it's a small group, right? So you can
Yes.
kind of learn off of other people in the session as well, which I think is one of the best ways for learning. Because as expert as we all are, it's
Yeah.
everyone has something they can bring to the table and weigh in on and give feedback that we don't see, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. That camaraderie, right? So you've got accountability, you've
Yes.
got camaraderie, you're learning. And
And
then this is the
everyone wants everyone to succeed, right? So
exactly.
that's
Yeah.
fun. That's great. All right. So we're gonna have a link to that. We'll have a link to your website, to
Perfect.
your program. You have a download for everyone that they can get, to just a free download to
Yeah.
learn more about video and some of these resources that we've mentioned. Um, but I would be remiss not to ask you, as this whole my brand and this podcast is about fulfillment and trying to help advisors find whole life fulfillment, not just from the work they're doing, but in freeing up themselves to be able to engage in life the way they like. And what fulfills you, Katie?
Well, I'm going to try to get through this without crying, Kristin. But as
Oh.
you know, I just lost my dad to cancer. And so for
Mm.
me, it's spending as much quality time with the people that I love as possible. So I'm even, not working full time anymore. I was like, I want to spend those afternoons with friends and going for hikes and visiting family and doing the things that really, really matter. And that's what makes it all worth it and enjoyable.
That's great. And I completely understand that. And I think it's exciting that you've built a business and a lifestyle that allows for that flexibility. And I want that for everyone to be able to do that. And we know it can be done and still be a lucrative, fulfilling endeavor while you get to also enjoy all those parts outside of the office. So thanks
Yeah.
for sharing. And again, I'm sorry for your loss. I know it can be painful to lose someone so close. So thank you for sharing. And we appreciate you being here today so much. The value you bring is incredible. And I hope all the advisors who are excited about video go out and visit your site, check out your resources, and consider taking your class.
Fabulous, Kristin. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, that was great. Thank you for bringing us that conversation, as a matter of fact, Kristin. And I just want to reemphasize something that Katie said for advisors who are listening to this, because it's really, really simple and you dismiss it. But the truth is nobody's good at something when they do it for the first time. So just do it. And the more you do it, the more relaxed you get about it. And the more relaxed you are, the more confident you are. And you know what happens as a result of all of that? You get better. It's just a really simple process. But to Katie's point, you just have to do it. And I've been doing this for almost 4 decades now. And hitting that button is never easy. It just isn't. It doesn't get better. You're always like, oh man, this could be better. You just have to hit the button. So
Yeah,
Katie, thank you
exactly.
for being here. Great conversation. And I do hope folks reach out to you because there's a lot of really good, solid advice in that.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Thank you.
And Kristin, we know how to get a hold of Katie, but how do we get a hold of you? What's the best way to do that?
Well, the best way is to go to fulladvisorcoaching.com, stocked with resources there for you to look at. I have the podcast, I have the blog, I have some free downloads. I invite you to check it all out. We have programs starting over the summer. Depending on when you're listening to this, it might be the next phase, but check them out, look at the services, see what fits for you, and feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. I spend a lot of time out there and I'm always happy to connect.
Yeah, I can vouch for the fact I see you often on LinkedIn. Good place to be. I like that platform, as a matter of fact. The other thing you can do if you're a listener and you're not a subscriber, this is really, really, really simple. Just hit the follow button. Okay. Then you're a subscriber. You won't miss another podcast. So when Kristin records one and releases one, you'll be notified. It is that easy. If you like this podcast, we'd also ask that you tell people about it and share it. Get the word out about what Kristin is talking about and how you find it useful and good for you. Until next time, I'm Bill Tucker. On behalf of Kristin, I want to thank you for listening today and remind you that you can go out today and make today a great day. Or not. You do have a choice. Until next time, thanks for listening.